Hello Whiskey Scavengers, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host Mark, and this is Glenmorangie Week Day 2. Day 2 of, I guess, a 5-day Glenmorangie Week. So today we're going to be looking at the third, the current limited edition Glenmorangie Legends, which is called Tarlogan. So there it is. It's 43% ABV, and unlike the other ones, this one has the signature wood cork, so that's nice. This one's a limited edition. This came out in, let's say, early summer, late spring, early summer 2016, so this year. And I had the bottle quite a ways back, but I decided to leave it for a while because a good friend of mine over at WhiskyWise, that's another whiskey reviewer. Look at the color of that one. A little bit lighter than the Tane. WhiskyWise, Jason, he reviewed this one right around the time that I had picked it up. So he scooped me. That's okay. He's a really great guy. You should check out his channel, WhiskyWise. And what else? Now, as I've mentioned before, I'm growing a mustache, and I'm not doing it for Movember this time, concurrent with Movember, but I'm not going to use my profile to help raise funds for Movember this time around. Rather, I'm trying to help another friend of mine who also does whiskey reviews called Adramaday, A-D-R-A-M, A-D-A-Y, to help him raise money for children's heart surgery. So you can find the charity at justgiving.com/Adramaday, www.justgiving.com/Adramaday. So have a look there, and if you could spare $1 or $2 or more, please do so. That would be a big help for him, and it's also for a good cause. Let's get this poured now. Glenmorangie, the Tarlogan. Nice green bottle. There we go. That's a good amount. This one has been part matured. I shouldn't say part matured. This one has been matured in partially in ex-bourbon casks. What I should say is a portion of the whiskey that goes in here was matured in ex-bourbon casks, and another portion of whiskey that went into this has been matured in virgin oak. Virgin oak meaning never before used oak, and probably was not charred to the degree that the ex-bourbon barrels are, I would imagine. They probably did more like a toasting or a dark toasting given the color, because if they had used virgin heavy char casks, then this would be a really dark color. That being said, it is pretty dark all considered, and again, I showed that to you once already. Let's have a look again at the color. So kind of a I sort of called this an Indian gold color, the color of Indian gold from India. Now the virgin casks, so what that means is no whiskey has gone in before. The whiskey, the new make that Glenmorangie put in was the first time that anything had been put into that cask, that barrel. Now the ex-bourbon casks, what does that mean? That means that bourbon has been made first and then extracted from the barrel, and then Glenmorangie new make went in, and then matured for most likely 10 years. Okay, let's get on to the nosing and so on. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? I don't think so, other than it's Glenmorangie Week, and I'm really excited about that. I mentioned in the previous review, when I did Tane, that I would do Tarlogan, and then we're going to look at Milchon, the private edition for this year. And then the third extra matured 12-year-old Glenmorangie that I haven't done yet, which is called La Santa. So we'll look at these first, And then we'll get on to the 11 expression roundup of Glenmorangie. Never before done on YouTube. Of course, maybe someone will do that between the time that I tell you that I'm going to do it and then actually it's done. That would be funny. That'd be the scoop of the century. Okay, so onto the nose now. We'll have a short advertisement right here. Welcome back. This is the Tarlogan from Glenmorangie. Oh, it's 43% ABV. I think I mentioned that anyway. 43% ABV. No mention of color or chill filtration. Again, this is a limited edition, so this is probably not going to be available next year. So my guess is they made one batch, and one batch only. So then there'd be no need to put any colorant in there, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's probably what's happened here. Again, if you happen to live in Germany or Denmark or Eastern Europe or Russia, where they have to list whether or not they put colorant in it, let me know. Does it have coloring in it? Let me know in a comment. Okay, onto the nose. Well, as you might guess, this has a very bourbon-esque nose to it. There's a lot of spice. Lots of cinnamon this time around. Cinnamon and some ginger. Something almost rye-like. So a minty kind of a note to it. Now, what did I write here? Bourbon, cinnamon, ginger, kumquats. Kumquats are those little tiny citrus fruits that you eat whole, basically, and the sweet part is the skin, and the sour part is the fruit, the meat. And they've got big seeds in them. So kumquats. Unripe apples, and this one has a little bit of a sharp nose, which I will liken to Airfix glue, you know, or the that really highly volatile strong glue that you may need to use when you break, say some china, or if you happen to want to stick a couple pieces of metal together. Anyway, now you give it time and that will dissipate, so don't be alarmed. Okay, now when you give it time, you're going to get some pine, a little bit of fresh cut grass, and some caramel coming through, although not as much caramel as might be nice. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers. This is very different for Glenmorangie. It starts off sweet, as you might expect, and then it gets a little bit salty, a little bit briny, slightly umami, tobacco. Fruit-wise, I'm getting some ripe mandarin oranges, or mandarin oranges in a tin, melon, ripe melon, and what did I write here? You keep it in your mouth and that briny umami just sort of sticks in there. And of course there is cinnamon, ginger, a little bit of baking spices in there as well. Interesting. And the finish, quite oily. Again, brine. A touch of dryness and not very sweet. Okay. Let's put a little bit of water in there. How much have I got? A little less than 30, about 25 milliliters again. How do I know? Well, once you're really familiar with Glencairn glasses, you can recognize how much is in there by, you know, the depth of the liquid. All right, we'll let that stroll around. So a dram a day, please do check out his channel. That's Ben Bauer's channel. I also mentioned Whiskey Wise and some other quick mentions for some other channels you should look at if you're interested in learning more about whiskey and finding information on products before you buy. So a dram a day, he's going to hit 366 by the end of the year. That's a huge volume. Not just scotches, also Japanese whiskeys, Canadian, American. I don't know if he did much else other than those, although I guess they may be coming, perhaps some French, I would hope. Swedish, South African. Has he done those already? Just about time. Other channels, Malted in Montreal. Very unique channel from Swami Suave. He has a very unique style, very engaging, very frank. If you want a frank whiskey channel, that's a great one. Who else? Maltman Mike. Maltman Mike, another UK gentleman who does a very great job of being extremely frank, open and honest right through and through. Not to say that I'm not, but generally speaking, if I really don't like the whiskey, I'm just not going to put it on my channel. If I think it's average, I'll do it, and I'll let you know that it's average. And I've had a couple that that I've told my viewership that I thought it was a little on the average side. And Malt Box, a gentleman named Andy. Whiskey Wednesday, Phil Dewar, I think is his name. Change up in the personality there. And towards the west of Canada, we have Rob. What is the name of his channel again? I'll have to put it in a link. I forget. Oh dear. You know, it's really interesting. It's like there's this big boom of people who are reviewing and talking about spirits and whiskeys on YouTube. It's become a whole like subgenre. So that's interesting. And blogs you should look at. There's a few blogs. OCD Whiskey, have a look at that. Amateur Drammer, Whiskey Apocalypse, also Whiskey Discovery. These are probably the ones I like reading the most. Whiskey Pilgrim is another great one. Anyway, lots of really interesting blogs out there. So many. And if I forgot to mention yours, I apologize. I will get to it eventually. I should have written them all down. I'll do that for the next one. So if you and I are friends on Twitter or Facebook, and I forgot to mention your blog or your YouTube channel, forgive me. Okay, let's get on to the nose now with water. We'll have a very short advertisement right there. Okay, welcome back. On to the nose. Tarlogan from Glenmorangie with water. A little more well-rounded now. A little more caramel coming through. Some sweetness that wasn't there before. So that's nice. And any off-putting scents have been relatively minimized. Still got some grassy notes there. So that's quite interesting. Almost like a forest, a grassy forest. And the vanilla is really coming through here now. What did I write here? Sweetness develops. orange comes in. It's still very spicy. No glue. It really mellows, I write here. With time, I write. It's kind of like, well, the bourbon notes are still there, but bourbon meets Glenmorangie. So if you can kind of get what I mean. So it's like Glenmorangie, but on the bourbon-y sort of end of things. And with a little more time, you will find some strawberry and some lemons coming through. I can start to smell the lemons here now. It's like a sweet lemon, like a lemon curd or lemon meringue. Much sweeter, I write. It just goes on and on here. Fruit pastries, ginger, especially melon and mint. We're on to, oh, that's the palate. Okay. All right, cheers. Still very briny, still very melony. Okay, so I write here. It's much sweeter. Fruit pastries. If you can imagine a melon pastry with mint. Ginger's there. Still some saltiness. A little bit of dryness comes through. And I put it here in a box with a star. It gets lemony with melon, and it's really nice. There's even a slight tequila-esque note here. Tequila also seems to have that sort of saltiness to it. Okay. Salted nut bar. A little bit buttery, very soft. If you are in Taiwan, there's a certain biscuit with like Ritz crackers on the top and bottom, like a buttery biscuit, a little bit salty. And then there's like a taffy, a white taffy-esque filling. It's white, it's sweet, and it's of a taffy nature. So beyond the smoothness of the Oreo filling and more like taffy, as if you could almost like stretch it. Okay, and finish. This is another interesting thing. So you swallow it, and you get kind of like a pineapple, stir-fried pineapple scent flavor left in your mouth. It's very rich. Can't read what I wrote just there. Rich. Touch of spice. Oh, that's what it is. Touch of spice. The peach apricot-y flavors does make a short appearance, very briefly, and then it leaves. I write here, peach apricot shows up to the party briefly. Anything else? The saltiness is really interesting here. That's a very big departure from the typical Glenmorangie flavor profile. Does it work? Kinda. It kinda works. Now, the Tarlogan is more expensive and smaller than either Tain or Dutak. That may be because it's a limited edition. However, if you're a big Glenmorangie fan, by all means, yes, get it. The price is pretty good considering you're getting something very different. Now, if you were going to buy one bottle from duty free, which would I choose? I'd probably choose the Tain. The Dutak was also very nice. Excuse me. Pardon me. Okay, so on to the scoring for Glenmorangie, the Tarlogan. What is that going to be? The WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Glenmorangie Tarlogan will be 81. That is without water. And up to 84 with water and time. And the nickname for Tarlogan is the Comeback Kid. So this really resurrected itself with time and with water. It's interesting, it's engaging. I have a big long list here of things that I noticed, things that it struck me as I was tasting it. The coolest thing about this is that salty brininess. I find that's quite interesting. That's maybe a little bit more like some other Highland malts that are out there. And the peachy, orangey kind of Glenmorangie, Glenmorangie house style, not as clearly evident here, although again it does make a little bit of an appearance when you add a bit of water. And I can see orange on the nose and lemon in the palate with water. Orange coming in with the water, and so on. So it's there. There's still some of that real Glenmorangie character there. It is just sort of camouflaged and, can I say, enhanced? Let's just say it is transformed into a slightly different style. Anyway, I think it works. 81 to 84. 84 with water. So if you like Glenmorangie, do get it. If you're going to choose one of them, this is the one that I would choose, the Tane. Price and the taste, very good. Dutak, probably 1, 2, 3. Tane number 1, Dutak number 2, and Tarlogan number 3. Alright. Anyway, so that has been the WhiskyWhistle whiskey review for Tarlogan. Don't forget to subscribe right down there. And again, justgiving.com/a-dram-a-day. Why not donate $1 or $2? That would be a big help to that charity, and also to Ben Bowers on his quest to reach 5,000 pounds. Okay, so that's it. We'll see you for the next one. What's coming next? Wait and see. I think it's going to be Milchon.